Good morning, folks. Welcome back to Chris Wyatt Reports. This is Chris in central Pennsylvania. Well, the inevitable has happened, and one has to question the timing of this. Seriously. Is this really a genuine warning to Americans, or is this just a way to get even with a government that the Biden regime finds intransigent? We've already seen how the Biden regime will jeopardize a century-old alliance relationship between the Saudi royal family and the United States, endangering geopolitical safety in the Persian Gulf region or the Arabian Gulf, depending on which part of the Gulf you come from. We've already seen how over trying to save a couple pennies a gallon in order to ensure that they don't get thumped in the midterms, the Biden regime will do anything. Now, the Biden regime, according to the Saudi government, asked for an extension of 1 month before they cut production. Now, why would they need a 1 month extension? Well, so the price of gasoline won't soar and Biden won't be blamed for it. And then the Democrats can pray that they won't get a red tsunami in November. But we know that this corrupt regime will do anything. So this travel warning about South Africa is suspicious. South Africa is a dangerous country with an outrageously high number of murders, and tourists are also part of the targeting. Now, fortunately, not many tourists have been killed by murderous thugs in South Africa over the past 28 years of ineffectual thieving rule by the ANC. But they have frequently been the target of robbery, assault, and many other attacks. Fortunately, not too many murders. But recently, a murder of a German tourist outside the Kruger National Park has sparked a lot of alarm. And it is reasonable for the U.S. government to issue a travel alert and travel advisory for traveling there, but the timing is quite suspicious. U.S. Embassy issues travel warning to Americans visiting South Africa. This could be a deadly blow to South Africa's crippled travel industry, tourism and hospitality industry, which is put on its knees. Many businesses, including restaurants in particular, completely destroyed by South Africa's draconian, asinine, ineffective, and liberty-crushing lockdown measures, which did nothing to help anybody. It just destroyed the concept of ownership and prosperity in South Africa. The United States Embassy in South Africa is urging Americans to be situationally aware when traveling the country's famed Kruger National Park and only make stops at designated areas. What are these designated areas? Due to an increase in crime, to include the recent murder of a foreign tourist, the U.S. Embassy in South Africa recommends that U.S. citizens avoid Numbi Gate at Kruger National Park and instead use either Paul Kruger or Pabene gates when entering and leaving the park. This is a statement released 3 days ago. Now, great. So when they start murdering people at the Kruger Gate or the Pabene Gate, what then? To remind folks, a German tourist was shot and killed in a robbery at Kruger National Park last week. Officials told Deutsche Welle that a tour group was stopped by armed assailants as they made their way to the Numbi Gate. When the suspects demanded that they open their doors, the driver locked the car. And local police spokesperson, Brigadier Selvi Mohala, told the Deutsche Welle that one of the suspects then shot the German tourist, killing him. And he bled out as his wife and friends were there. It was unbelievable. U.S. Embassy called on citizens to be aware when traveling the area and only make stops at designated other areas. Now, this isn't the first security alert for South Africa. More recent one was a health alert over the Rona fantasy. And prior to that, back in 2015 and 2016, there were alerts, the U.S. Embassy warning of near-term terrorist attacks, one tied to the Ramadan period, and warning people about malls and shopping areas in Joburg and Cape Town. That, of course, didn't come to pass, thankfully. But this raises a bigger issue here. These travel warnings can be used to dissuade Americans from traveling to South Africa for their own safety. Is that what the U.S. government is doing here? I'll assume that's what it is. But why wasn't this alert issued sooner? Why wasn't it sooner? This is one tourist who's been killed, and this stuff has been going on for ages, for donkey years. So, is this to get even with Cyril Ramaphosa's government for its stance on Ukraine, backing Russia? Just yesterday, the United Nations passed a resolution condemning, the General Assembly condemning Russia's annexation of the 4 breakaway republics in the Donbass region. Once again, South Africa sided with Russia with an abstention. At least that's Washington's view. The travel alert comes just before that. Were they sending a message? I don't know. One would hope that it's genuine. The State Department, unfortunately, is politicized. But their travel alerts usually are legitimate, and I assume that that's what the case is here. But nonetheless, it does raise disturbing questions about when people are robbed and murdered every day. 72 people per day robbed and murdered. South Africa in 2019 had 21,000 murders for a country of less than 60 million. The United States, a country of over 330 million legitimate legal people here, not to mention the tens of millions of criminal alien invaders hiding in our midst. 330 million plus people had 14,000 murders, an abysmal number, but 50% less than a country one-sixth its size. Dangerous place, but a wonderful, amazing place full of truly amazing people. And I hope that this doesn't cripple South Africa's tourism industry, which is trying to recover. Between the sensational reporting about the unfortunate, horrible murder of the tourist from Germany that's taking place in Germany, and now the U.S. travel alert about going to Kruger, we'll see what happens. Anyway, folks, if you're not a subscriber, please hit that button and join us here on the Shadow Ban platform, YouTube. Thank you very much.